Okay.
Thank you.
We're holding page 30, Tezvov. Okay? Simit Ches Halacha Tezvov. And this happens very often, especially very often with older people. Im nofla talisa shlub miskaving. Person's wearing his talis, slips off, falls off. Let's say it falls off totally. Or let's say it falls off, you grab it just with your hand. It's not, it was still on your arms. It fell off, and if you wouldn't have grabbed it again, it would have fallen to the floor. V'chozer misatev, and you wrap yourself again, tzorach levorich. You have to say the bracha. Well, according to the Mechaber, definitely. Correct? Because the Mechaber says if you take off your talis to go out, even though you have in mind to put it back, you have to say another bracha. So here, where it slips off.
I thought we said if you say before you put the
I understand.
But you're not talking about that.
No, I'm saying, let's say he didn't have in mind initially that if he takes it off, he's going to put it back on. He had it in mind when he said it that he's going to wear it continuously. Then he decides later to take it off, according to the Mechaber. Even though when he takes it off, he has in mind to put it back, he's required to say another bracha. So our situation, it slips off, where he never intended to take it off. So it's no worse than having in mind when you to put it back on, when you're taking it off intentionally to put back on. So this would be a koshke, correct? This would be worse than that.
I understand. It slips off, he catches it and puts it back
No,
on.
let's say it falls to the floor.
Right.
Make it simple. Now you put it back on.
Right.
Chaber says, and the Rama doesn't argue, you have to say another bracha. You have to say another bracha.
Even though it wasn't intentional to take it off.
Doesn't make a difference, but you detach from the mitzvah. You know, there's aloha in Hilchas Mezuzah, you have mezuzah on your doorpost, and for some reason it falls off. You come in, you find it on the floor, and you put it back up, you have to say another bracha. That's the aloha. So this is similar, identical to the talis. You never intended to take it off, but now that the mitzvah is not functioning, now you're bringing it back. Now you're putting it on. If you take it off to have the mezuzah checked, so there you're taking it off to put back. So we hold, as long as not for the extended period, like the talis. You take off your talis, you come back 3 hours later. You have to say a bracha, even according to Ramah. Because that's Hesach Hadas. You take off, you give it to the sofer, you put the mezuzah back 3 days later. Right? Now, I'm giving an extreme case. No question. Everybody agrees you have to put, regardless of what your mindset was when you took it off to put it back, that extent of time is definitely a hefsek. That's Hesach Hadas. When you put the mezuzah back, you're required to say another bracha. Right? But let's say you take it off for a few hours and you put it back. You know, as quickly as you can. Bring it to the sofa, he's going to check it, bring it right back. When you put it back, you don't have to say another bracha. Okay? So tzorach levorach v'ushenofla kulo. That is important. The talis fell off totally. So the case simply fell to the floor. Avalum no nofla kulo api shenofla ruba. Although we usually say ruba kakula. We said when the majority, we always give the majority, says if part of it remained, although the majority did fall off, edo tzorach levorach. You're not required.
Okay.
You still connect. That's sufficient to be connected to the mitzvah. Okay, let's see Mishna Berura. It's a separate mitzvah. Just think of examples. Rubka Kula.
The Hebrew concept, and usually, I know this is not Hebrew, but
No, there is no.
Right away, within less time, it says.
No, but Tochadiv is always where it has to do with intent. Intent. Here, it's just a detachment.
And I said the talis cutting is a separate mitzvah.
Correct.
So then why will we say that for the talis gadol we're including the talis cutting in the mitzvah?
No. If you want to put on multiple talisim, of course one could cover multiple. The bracha you have on A, B, C, and D. You know, and every talis you're wearing.
Right.
That's not a problem. It is. When you wear the talis cotton, it's the same mitzvah, but it's an independent mitzvah. You're doing the mitzvah tzitzis on one garment and another garment, so you get double credit. For each garment, you get.
Each garment is a separate entity mitzvah.
Correct. So you have multiple. Okay? I mean, there was an opinion, Ramos said, that if you take off your talus and have a mind to put it back, that's only if you're wearing a talus cotton, right? That was the second, that was the Yeshom. So there, you're still associated with the mitzvah, so that's what intent helps. But if you don't, you're not, even intent wouldn't help you. Right? Okay, let's see the Mishna Berura. Tezvov. Shlo b'miskavein. Afilu ma'ide paskin deheset taliso das lachziro ein tzorach levorech. Here, even the way we rule that when you take off the talis and have in mind to put it back on, one is not required to say the bracha. Right? That was the psak of the Ramah. B'zeh gore yoser. This situation where it falls off unknowingly is worse. It's a worse situation. Since it fell without any intent, it just detached itself. Here, even though you're wearing a talis cotton, it doesn't help you. Even if you put it on immediately, whatever falls off while you're saying Shemon Esrei, your talis falls off. And other people, they put it on the person. While when you finish the Shemon Esrei, you touch the tzitzis, and you say again, you say l'sati b'tzitzis. Because as we discussed, every moment that you wear the talis, it's another mitzvah saseh. So you're always holding, it's always over l'aseh yosan. You're always prior to the next moment.
You have to do the Atiko again.
No, you don't have to do it. The Chaber says, even if the majority fell off and the minority is still on you, they argue. They argue with the Chaber. If the majority falls off, you say Ruba Kukula. He says, the Vilna Gaon favors the Taz's position. That if the majority of the house falls off, it's considered that it's fallen off. Hear this? What about it falls off and you're holding it in your hands? It slips off your body, but you just grabbed it. You're holding it in both hands. Tzarch levorich. Because when you wear a garment, do you wear a garment by holding it? I mean, it's hanging. It's not wearing. So it has to be covering your body. Your body. Okay, 1 second. In Beirach al-Atal is nofel miyodo kodim shnisati v'il levosho. Hear this? What about a person is about to put on the talus? He says the bracha and he drops the talus. He never wrapped himself. He dropped it. Now he picks up the talus and he wants to wrap himself. Does he have to say a new bracha or not? You're holding an apple, say it falls to the floor. You pick it up. No, you pick up the same apple. Everybody gives you don't say another bracha, right? You say you said the same thing. Here, the bracha didn't yet associate itself with the action I intended to do. So now I'm doing that action. I intended to put on this talus. The others, the bracha took effect. Now the bracha, the mitzvah detaches itself from me. So now, if the mitzvah detached itself, now putting it on, you're beginning over again. So when you begin over again, you have to say another bracha. That's the difference. So he says you're not required to say another bracha. If initially. In tzorch levorach shenis. Va'afil nivslu as tzitziyosov. Yeah, this is already a chiddush. What about, he says the bracha, then he realizes the tzitzis are a puzzle. No. Not that he not that he realized it became puzzle. As he was going to pull it up, the tzitzis get caught on something. No, not only that. No, because then the bracha was never on a talus that he was obligated to say the bracha on. You understand? It's like you say a bori pri eats on a piece of bread, right? Person says he says bori pri eats a piece of bread. Now he wants to take a fruit and eat the fruit. Bori pri eats has no relevance to bread. Well, I thought that was the bracha. Say, oh, by the way, not bracha. Take a fruit now. You never intended to eat a fruit. You know, eating the fruit, if you want to eat the fruit, you have to say bor parades now on the fruit. Because bor parades has no relevance to bread, and your intent was never to eat the fruit. So now, to cover the bracha, it's not going to help you any. Same thing. If the talus was possible when you said the bracha has no value. He says, oz nifslu tzitziyosov. At that moment, after he says the bracha, the tzitzis became possible. So he says, voyolo tzitzis v'zumonim v'tiknu miyad. And he had strings there available to correct it immediately. It's the same thing. Ein tzorch le, it does make, ein tzorch levorach shenis, this is a much greater chiddush. Came dadayin lo osim mitzoso, lo esir daito, kamo betfilin kamot simin, chof aleph sif yud beis. Ein shom, over there, he said, what happens, sometimes you put on that, all of a sudden the knot comes loose. And you have to go, and you have to redo the knot. So you don't have to say another bracha. You say lo niach, and you go like this, but it only takes effect. You have to be able to tie it on your arm, right? What happens by the time you put it around your arm, it just falls apart. So you have to retie it. A new knot has to be done. So it's not a hefsek. And it's fixed immediately, you just continue. The original bracha comes upon, affects the tefillin. Okay?
What does it have to do with the tzitzis, though? I understand that the comparison. The knot of the tefillin. Which knot are we talking about? The one you make?
No, you don't make the knot. The knot is there.
The knot's there,
Let's say
right.
give it a pull and it opens up the knot.
The knot on the tefillin opens up.
It has to be redone,
Okay.
right? So you never put on the tefillin. But if it's corrected, you retie it immediately. You go to a person, he does it for you, whatever it is, and you put it on. The original bracha affects the tefillin. You're not required to say another bracha. As long as you weren't b'sich das. As long as you weren't distracted. One second. Ein shom betasif kon umisha lokach talis lesati v'hischil levorech olav v'kom shisim abrocha l'kacho mimenu. Hear this? Person who's about to put on talis, person comes to shul, wants to put on somebody else's talis because he thought he was davening at a later minyan, or he only shows up, on Shabbos, and the man comes in, he wants his talis, and you didn't wrap yourself with it, right? What happens? He said the bracha, and you didn't wrap yourself. Utfilin lefonav yoch l'sayim abrocha shek sham sog tzivon u'niach tfilin v'yotzi bozeh. I don't see. V'aratzcha hiskim imo la'alocha. No. He's not talking about you taking another talus. Let's say there's no other talus available. Does he complete the bracha? He says, "Shekid Yishalom." So once you can't say, you can't say what? You can't say Lamdin. You want to be Baruch Hashem Leinu. He said Hashem Elokeinu. Once you come to Elokeinu, but he intended to complete it. He intended. He says he can complete the bracha because the original intent was to do the mitzvah. It's not considered bracha levatol. Well, the other way would be if you stop at that point, it's a bracha levatol. I mean, it's the Shem Hashem for no reason.
So you're saying bracha,
and you're not going to put on the tefillin, and you're not going to put on the talus. Let's say there's no other talus. There's no other talus. It's not considered bracha levatol because in the position that you said it, you were permitted to say it. No, he says or tefillin, either one, talus or tefillin, and it was taken from him. I was reading yesterday, interesting. There's a sefer put up from Rebbe Yoshev, that person who had a relationship with him, so he recorded many of his psukim, his rulings. We say Baruch Shem K'vod Mashlom Ved. If you say bracha, let's say it happens, you say bird praise, then you realize that you already had said a bird praise during the meal. So the second bracha had no value. So you're supposed to say, the halacha is, you say Baruch Shem K'vod Mashlom Ved. That's the halacha. You're supposed to say Baruch Shem K'vod Mashlom Ved. What about, say, this person asked him, what about if you say the Shem Hashem? You didn't say the bracha. Do you say Baruch Shem K'vod Mashlom Ved? If saying the name of Hashem where it has no value, it wasn't within the context of a bracha.
What would be the downside?
No. There's no downside, but you're supposed to. Are you supposed to say it? There's no downside.
Right.
But the halacha is stated if you say a bracha shein bracha levatola, you're supposed to say Baruch Shem K'vod Mashlom Ved. So that, like, somehow is considered a slight correction out of respect, right? You said the shame, so you say Baruch Shem K'vod Mashlom Ved. That's to acknowledge in a respectful way what you said, although it wasn't needed, but you're acknowledging it. So that gives it a certain degree of value. What about you said the Shem Hashem? You didn't say it within the context of a bracha. So he says you should say the same obligation. Person says the Shem Hashem, especially people, they're not careful. Speaking here, people also, they say Shakai, and they say it with a dalit. This is the Shem Hashem, you're not permitted to say it. Right? Let's say mistakenly he said it. Didn't know. So, and a very correct, I say, it's Shakai, it's not, you're not supposed to say it with the dalit. The person should say Baruch Shem Kol Maslum Ved immediately, because that's the correction. Or, in Israel, they say the name of Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei Elokim in modern Hebrew. No, or they'll say Kale, Toda Lekale, but they say it with the Aleph. People who speak Hebrew, secular Jews. It's saying the Shem Hashem. It's a Torah violation. So let's say the person said it, and he realized he made a mistake. He said, but you should say Baruch Shem Kol Maslum Ved. To begin with.
Torah violation if you say it in vain, but if you're putting it in an appropriate context, why is it saying in vain? I know we don't. It
doesn't make a difference, because, the question is, according to Rambam, if you say a bracha which is not needed, it's a Torah violation. It's given to Chazal to determine when you're permitted to say it, when you're not permitted to say it. Let's say a person says, Baruch Hashem Elokim Echlam Bar Peretz. Is that an issue that rises to Rabbanon? Baruch he's acknowledging Hashem to be Elokeinu Melech Olam Bar Peretz. He's the creator of the fruit of the tree. Is that an issue that rises to Rabbanon? Tosafos says it's only Rabbanan on a Torah level, because it was it's not in vain. You acknowledge Hashem to be the king of the universe who created the fruit of the tree. It's only Rabbanan, not Isidoraisa. Rambam, Reb Kiva shows from the Rambam, it's an Isidoraisa. Violation of saying the name of Hashem in vain. Because the Rambam learns that it was given to Chazal to determine when you can, when you cannot. And they said only within the context if you can eat. If you're not going to eat, you're not permitted to say it. Therefore, it's lo sis Hashem Eshov. You're in violation of pronouncing the name of Hashem in vain.
Getting back to Romi's question, so if you say Kel Shakai in the context of the Dvar Torah, for example.
So I'm saying, that would make the difference. But according to Tosafos, it would need Drabanan. It would be rabbinical. According to, because he's saying the name of Hashem, you're not supposed to say it.
Because only the Rabbanan can determine
when yes and when not.
And if I'm reading a pasuk,
that's within the context of a pasuk. You have to say the whole pasuk.
So I say the whole pasuk.
It's fine, not a problem.
You should actually do it that way.
So what about Tzemiros? When we sing Tzemiros on Shabbos and you use Hashem's name?
Sephardim are a lot more lenient than we are, than Ashkenazim.
I was always told to say Hashem's name.
Yeah, good. Because that's, even though you have to ask who wrote the Tzemiros, it's not Chazal, right? It wasn't authored by Chazal. It's a little. Mizmor is Tehillim.
I see a lot of people say Hashem.
No, it's wrong.
Why?
You know why? Because probably sometimes they sing it as a song, and therefore they say Hashem. So it's like the bar mitzvah boy. He practices Hashem, he gets up for the bar mitzvah, he also says Hashem. Same idea,
You should say the real name.
Of course. But if you're going to repeat, sometimes they sing it over and over. That's something else. No, if you repeat the whole pasuk, it's not a problem. It's only if you repeat part of the pasuk, it's a problem. Thank you.
So the saying this after he started the bracha this after this is something that takes the house away. I think when if there's film in front of you also kind of transfer.
No.
Continue the bracha saying, well, we have film because the film is.
If it was before you, maybe. There's a famous ritvah in brachos. It's famous if you know it. There's a ritvah. What happens to a person? He forgot that he was fleshik. And all of a sudden, there's a shackle and ice cream. No? Is it considered bracha levatala? And then he realized he doesn't need it because he's not permitted to eat dairy because it's within the period he's not permitted. It's not a bracha levatala. Since when he said that bracha, he was supposed to say the bracha. Right? Even according to the Rambam, he was supposed to say that bracha. So he realized after he's not permitted to eat the food. It's not a bracha levatala. Doesn't even say Baruch Shem over there.
Can we go and eat something else?
No, not. It's like a person said Baruch creates on right? No, can't eat something else.
But he wanted water, then he could.
No, it's like saying a bird creates on bread.
Bread is that's
You never intended. No, you never intended. You never intended to drink water. Okay?
But when the towels falls off, he says, you're mashmesh with tzitzis, Vaeira.
Even if you're not
All right,
mashmish.
so you should say on mitzvah tzitzis also
L'satif, l'satif.
But you're not doing it.
No, because that's a takona. The Mechaber says even on Talis Kod you say l'satif. It's minig Ashkenaz, we say al mitzvahs. But the halacha is, the Mishna Berura says, whatever you say, even on Talis Kod, al mitzvahs or Talis Kod l'satif, it's valid bracha. Either one. Even if you don't wrap yourself, it's valid.
So if someone makes a bracha and they don't end up eating something for whatever reason, it's not bracha.